Hi, everyone. Welcome back to the BNI Partners in Excellence show. I'm Andy, and as you can tell, I am super excited to have one of our newest members in the studio today, Nick Collada. Yeah, that's coming with a lot of enthusiasm. Nick, I'm so glad you're here today, man.
Well, thank you for having me. I really appreciate the opportunity.
First of all, congratulations on being one of our newest members of BNI Partners in Excellence. You are fulfilling our financial planning category, and with that comes some things we can do and some things we can't talk about. But I want to give you kind of like the mic and some free reign today to talk about the things you want to talk about, learn more about your background, your history in business, your personal hobbies and interests, things like that, so people get to know you a little bit better.
Well, being a financial advisor, I could talk about myself all the time. So, but it's very important that I listen, right? So trying to build rapport with somebody and understand what's important to them. But today I get to talk about myself, which is not going to be a problem.
Well, so let's kind of get some of the housekeeping stuff, like talk about who you're with, what's your professional duty, and what do you actually do in business day in, day out?
Well, that's a great question. So I'm a financial advisor with Edward Jones. I've been in the industry for 14 years, close to 15 years. Worked at multiple different companies. I've been at the big banks. But now I got the opportunity to take over an office here in Chula Vista for Edward Jones, which I really admire, and took the opportunity and ran with it. Now I'm part of a great BNI group, and my business is going really well.
What initially got you interested in financial planning? What's like the origin story of that for you?
Well, it's a family thing. Actually, my family, I have 3 uncles that are actually Edward Jones advisors. I have a couple of cousins that are Edward Jones advisors. My grandparents' money was with Edward Jones. So, and my parents' money is with Edward Jones. So, it was just a family deal to become a financial advisor. So it was pretty cool. I actually started with Edward Jones 14 years ago, but left to go, explore different companies, and found out this is the right company for me, and that this is where I belong.
I'm like half expecting you to be like, and then my grandpa's named Edward Jones.
No, but I'm super blessed to have the opportunity to work for them. They're a great company, and I'm excited to talk about them.
Awesome. So, and I don't know this. This probably sounds naive, but I have no idea what it means to have your own office. I know what it means to be a salesperson.
Yeah.
But what does it take to actually be in a position where you have enough years of experience or a criteria, the criteria to actually have your own Edward Jones place?
Well, I think it has to do with experience also. You're basically running your own business, because Edward Jones is a partnership, a private partnership. So when I come in here, and I like always to tell this to my clients too, is that I don't have a boss. The closest thing to my boss are my clients. So it gives them a lot of power over me. So it doesn't take much to, just experience. You have to have your license Series 7, Series 66. But Edward Jones really looks for somebody that's going to be part of the community. And this is my community, which we'll go into a little bit later.
Yeah, they'll say this is your own backyard, man.
Yeah.
So you're kind of this example of what they're looking for, right?
Yeah.
Not to play dumb. But you're saying that's what they're looking for. Someone who's known, seen, visible, and also reputable from the internal perspective as well.
Yes, exactly. And, being born and raised here in Chula Vista, going to Hilltop High School, actually attended Southwestern College, which is just down the street from
Oh, man. We got another Lancer in the building.
Oh,
You and Miguel going to team up on everybody? Is that what's going to happen?
It's a great school. We love Lancer. You went to Eastlake, right? Didn't you?
I went to Bonita. Don't yell at me. Don't yell at me.
Okay, well, my kids are going to go to Bonita. I live in that area. My office is actually just right across the street from Bonita High School and Bonita Middle.
What do you know?
So it's a great community, and just the South Bay is a special place.
Yeah.
And I always brag about this, because I talk to people that are, North County and different places, and I just tell them how diverse we are and how amazing of a community we are. We have a great mayor, John. He's amazing. I think you had him on here not just recently.
Well, Jim Lowther. I am so sorry. Jim
no.
Lowther brought him on. Now I'm going to have to tell both Jim Franco and Jim Lowther that I messed up.
Yes.
That's going to be super fun.
Okay.
So Jim Lowther had him on to talk about kind of state of the city, all that. I was going to say, people in San Diego, a lot of people don't know that Chula Vista is the second largest city in the county, second only to San Diego proper.
Yeah.
Now, it's by a wide margin. Mm-hmm. But after you get to number 2, number 3 is a deep margin past Chula Vista.
Yeah.
This is a huge city.
Yeah. and a lot of people need financial help. So that's, what I'm here to do is to educate them and show them that I'm in it with them, right? And that I could hold their hand through, all the different, environments that we go through with the financial markets.
Something I was gonna, and I'm glad you're here to talk about that. I talk about this with Miguel and some other guy like Ramses. I talked to about this kind of stuff where like some of this in this age group, we weren't raised in school or in education, and there was no social media talking about these things. Mm-hmm. Investing in real estate, putting money in a portfolio, thinking about different ways of helping your money grow. But man, that whole landscape has changed in these last couple of years.
Yes.
Big time,
yes.
For better in most cases, and for worse in some others.
Yeah.
But when it comes to like financial literacy, education, you're gonna find a lot of good information out there. But one of the things I want to ask / maybe state too is like, you got to go direct to the source. I know there's things that a lot of planners can't come online and talk about because it's online, it's considered marketing and promotion, and they can't do that. But you can find guys like Nick to go to their office, email them, phone call them, and that way you can actually ask some other qualified questions and get maybe a more robust help. Is that a good way of describing it?
I think that's the best way to sit down with a financial advisor. First of all, you always want to make sure the financial advisor is the right fit for you, right? Because some people have different strategies or just different personalities, might conflict. So it's always finding somebody that you trust, that you're going to trust.
Talk about that some more. What I don't want everyone to make up their own definition of fit. Give me a description of what do you mean by like fit? What's a good example to you?
I talked about it earlier. There's somebody that's going to listen to your circumstances and your financial goals and uncover those instead of just trying to push a product on you. I think that's huge in the relationship building business. Just like I said, is just having somebody that's gonna take all of it in and then come up with a strategy with you. And that's what Edward Jones is really big about. It's about being client focused and partnering up with my clients. So it's not necessarily, hey, here's a product. This is going to make you lots of money. That people, will come to me and will start off saying, I just want to make a lot of money. Well, I want to dig a little bit deeper than that. I want to unpeel the onion, right? And I want to understand what's the main goal for those assets, or what's the main goal to grow this money? Is it to buy a home? Is it to, for retirement? Is it college education for your children, your grandchildren? Is it just about saving money on taxes? So I feel that finding the right advisor that's going to ask all those right questions and make you, uncover what your financial situation is always going to be key. And TikTok can't do that for you, right? And all these reels that we see online, and most financial professionals cannot put anything on TikTok,
right,
or do anything on Instagram or anything like that. So
it's even why I was kind of this mixed message. You go like, yeah, you're gonna get all this great information, but it's like, is it qualified licensed advice? Sometimes it's not. Most times it's not because it can't be, because they can't be there. But then also it's like, here's how to make $1 million in 10 seconds. You're like, okay, hold on. Like I understand there's like finance hacks, there's life hacks, and all this kind of stuff.
It's too good to be true. If you just can't believe everything you see on social media or on any of those platforms.
I don't know if you feel the same way, but the older I get, some of those like what are they called? Those sayings where it's like, oh, if it's too good to be true, it is. Like, what were those called? There's a term for it. I can't. It's not a slogan or whatever. But anyways, I'm forgetting the term. But like, do you find that as you're getting older, some of those things become more truth? You're just like, shoot, when I was younger, I just thought that's something people said. Now that I'm older, I'm like, oh, that's really true. That's really true. Like the apple doesn't fall far from the tree is another one.
The one that I heard the other day is that you get farther with honey than how's that one go? Do you know that
than with vinegar, right?
Or vinegar, yeah.
Yeah.
I used that today. I was like, when I was calling other institutions and I'm talking to the gatekeeper or things like, you want to be polite with them, and you might be frustrated and you're trying to find something or why you charge the fee. But if you're polite with them, you're gonna get a lot farther. They're gonna do a lot more work for you. So I take that one in for sure.
So talk to me more about the whole community aspect though, because being I understand that like the business connection to you have to be visible in the community so people know you, and then they build trust and it becomes profitable. Like you're saying though that's like a key component for Edward Jones. Like where's that come from?
Well, it comes from from Edward Jones himself. He wanted to take the Wall Street to Main Street, basically. and that's a saying that we all say. So we would definitely want to take these big city investment advisors, because back in the day, or back when like farmers are trying to invest. And they started in St. Louis, Missouri. So, farmers were having to go into the big cities, right, to start investing. But now what Edward Jones' philosophy is to bring, Wall Street to Main Street, to being downtown, your small town, and helping the normal person invest, right? Now, being part of the community is definitely a big part of that. Because not just for visibility, but just also be able to give back. So a big reason that I love that I made the change is that they give me the opportunity to be part of nonprofit groups, such as, I'm part of the Kiwanis, part of the Bonita Optimist group right here, and I get to work with the community on giving back, which has always been, you always have those list of goals for each year. I've always put that on there to give back to my community, but I just, growing a young family, building my career, I didn't feel like I had that time. But now I feel that I'm able to do that, and then also it's helping me with my visibility in my profession, right?
That's awesome.
So I love it. It's cool to give back.
I want to, you're new to our chapter, or newish to our chapter. I wanted to ask you, what is something that's already surprised you about your BNI membership?
And I think we talk about this, as somebody always says it when we have a visitor in, is our commodity. Like we are like literally great friends. It feels like I've known all you guys for so long. We have coffee after, we do a lot of different things, and we joke around, and we make it really fun. So I think when we have visitors come in, they expect it to be strictly networking, but they see us making jokes, and it's super fun. So I really think that stands out from our group, and I've seen some great groups through BNI also. The Chula Vista chapter, I've seen them. They're somewhat similar, but there's something about the core group, and everybody was like, "You need to get in the core group," and I felt like I was already in. Miguel.
Well, hey, you're already in the hair club with me, Mark, Ray Batar. Who else we need to call out? That has, we have our own little bald club. That's a whole separate power team, bald guys.
It's super cool. And then Ray came in with a nice beanie the other day, and I was like, I need to start doing. We got to keep our heads warm when it gets cold like this. But Ray's a great.
I'm surprised no one in the group has brought like a hair loss specialist in, like a visitor from the Bosley hair center or whatever that's called.
But I felt like it makes me. I love it. I love shaving my head. I like having a fresh haircut every day. Like when I do every other day, it's nice, just to be fresh, and I enjoy it though, and people say it fits me. So.
Something that we're doing in BNI too that is I want to make sure people understand this. Like BNI San Diego has a focus on bringing in local nonprofits into chapters as well, and we had a nonprofit in our room for quite a bit. We're looking for another nonprofit to take that spot. But that again is like it yields itself to that whole neighborhood aspect, that community aspect, that being present not just for what we get from the community, but bringing goodness to the community as well as a whole. And that is something I love about our chapter. You have a lot of members who are in and around, like they live and work in Bonita, or they work in Bonita and they spend a lot of time here doing their business in that area. And I really, really think that helps us stand out a lot, as well as the Growth Unlimited chapter in Chula Vista, because all those dudes are around. Like we have like these overlaps where we all still know each other, but we're not competitive, but we are soft competitive, but not. Like it's just this cool dynamic.
It's super cool. We have a special group.
Yeah,
I'm excited, and I'm lucky that I had Miguel, bring me in and make me feel about part of that core group, and now me and Jim and everybody, yourself, we're talking very often, so it's super exciting.
I will say the thing that is most concerning to me is that we have yet another jiu-jitsu player in the room, which is you, and that makes now another person who's going to try to drag me back on the mat so they can kick my butt. I don't like that part. I do want to talk about your cauliflower ear.
Oh yeah.
Let's
see,
without
the camera's facing it right
without you, without you beating me up for pointing it out.
Yeah.
Take a victory lap, if you will. Talk to me about your jiu-jitsu prowess and what your level is, how long you've been playing jits, and all that.
Well, yeah. I mean, I've been in jiu-jitsu. Traditional jiu-jitsu about 15 years. I'm a black belt under Leticia Ribeiro, and
only 15 years and a black belt. Okay, noted.
And under Fabricio Comones and Leticia Ribeiro, who owns the gym here in National City, Gracie and Maita. So we're under Hoyler Gracie. So Gracie and Maita is the original Gracie, Brazilian Gracie that came over. So I'm surrounded by a lot of superstars in the jiu-jitsu world, which is pretty cool. But yeah, I've been doing that, 15 years. But It all actually started before that. Traditional jiu-jitsu, 15 years. But a lot of my friends went to Hilltop High School, and they're all really star wrestlers, right? Top-end wrestlers. They won CIF. They're, really good. And we started in a garage. And this is when UFC and Pride just came out. Like,
yeah.
And that's how old, how old I am, right? So...
So, there's that.
Yeah, there's that. But that was just coming out. And so we were watching videos of how to do an armbar.
And when you say video, clarify for our young audience, you literally mean videotape.
Video VHS.
VHS tape, y'all.
Yeah, so we'd buy the new one when it came out. Yeah.
Oh, man,
so
Nick.
we had a whole stack of them. But it was cool because, so what happened is a lot of my friends in that garage ended up breaking away. What happened is they won tournaments and they got asked to join gyms and train and teach and different things. So I have a couple of friends that went into the UFC, and then I also had a couple of friends that opened up their own gyms and then opened up their own jiu-jitsu companies and gi companies. And so from us starting in that garage and basically addicted to jiu-jitsu, right? It's like it's something that it's weird. I've done a lot of different sports, right? I played baseball. I was a water polo player in high school and a little bit of college. And then, I've always been athletic. I'm not saying I'm an athletic person, but I love
I get you. No, you can say it. Yeah, you can step into that. Come on.
But there is something about jiu-jitsu. There's an addiction to it. And I think you can relate is when you get the bug, you go home and you think about it. So you'll be laying in bed thinking about, I could have done this better, it's like a chess game, right? So that's why I feel like there's a lot of smart people that train jiu-jitsu. It's not like the big egotistic guys. It's more the smart, quiet guys that are the ones that are really good.
I want to qualify your compliment. I am addicted to jiu-jitsu when I was doing it, but I have now since recovered from my addiction and have not been in many years. You're a black belt talking to a beginner. Yeah. That is who you're talking to. So thank you for the nod, but dude, 100% addicted when you're doing it, but I've let the time pass, man. I would be a easy tap out right now.
But I think it only takes you to get the bug again, and that's the journey of jiu-jitsu. Like there's ups and downs through that time. So there's 15 years. I've had kids. Gone through different things. I've gone through knee injuries. I had a meniscus repair surgery about 3 years ago. So those are just common things, and it pulls you back from jiu-jitsu. But then eventually it's always there for you. So it's the girlfriend that will never leave you.
I do feel like we have probably one of the more safest in-person meetings in the entire county between you, Miguel, Michael Keith. By the way, y'all don't know Michael practices Muay Thai. Yeah. Like he's a killer. You don't.
He trained jiu-jitsu too.
And jits, yes. Yeah, that's actually you guys knew each other before.
I trained with him before.
We got Mark Garza, our private investigator, who was in the police force for over 20 years. I think we're pretty safe to come and visit.
And I like to say this, it gives you a superpower, not physically, right? It's not like you're going to be the strongest person, but it makes you mentally strong, in everything in your life. And I'm sure Elias Gallegos talked about this before, and I probably still learned it from him. But yeah, I mean, jiu-jitsu gives you that peace of mind, that confidence in everything you do in your life. So, when I'm starting a new career, or making a change, or, different companies, it gave me that strength that like, hey, I'm fighting 250-pound guys in the gym every day. Me going out and finding new clients, or going through the corporate world or whatever it might be, is very small compared to what I have to do. Yeah, and I really feel that's truth. It's gave me a lot of strength in relationships and careers, and then also there's obviously the self-defense aspect of it.
I think it does toughen up the forward-facing side of you as a business person. Where you're like, oh, I'm getting like hit over here, jabbed over here, I'm getting choked over there. This guy's trying to twist me in 3 pieces over there, and then someone tells you no, you're like, no, okay, like. But no, you're not going to roll over on it, but you have like you got your moves and counter moves, man. And you play offense when you play offense. You play defense, you got to play defense. Yeah. Like there's tactic to all that.
Yeah, and sometimes the battle is just showing up, right? And that's how it is for work too. Sometimes you just need to get out of bed, show up, and get there and get things going. And that's a struggle sometimes. And doing that for jiu-jitsu, you might be sore. You might feel a little sick or something like that. But once you get on the mats, it all goes away. Once you get a sweat going, right? So once you get going, you're in heaven. And I've never gone to a jiu-jitsu class and not been happy when I left. So the mental side of it really takes a toll on you. It's a good thing, right?
That's really good. And you're saying it in different terms, but it's about getting those reps, you know? Like there's that similarity in business where it comes to like sales calls or referrals, getting referrals, communicating with people. It's those reps matter. And over the course of time, you'll find yourself getting choked out a lot less in business, and in life.
and I always say this, and this is not something I made up, but I'm the white belt that never quit, right? So, and that's how it is in everything, like in business, we're never going to quit, right? And it's on your financial plan, like we might have little hiccups during the way, recessions, different things, but we're never going to quit, and that's how we endure. Getting through those times.
That's so awesome.
Yeah. But leading back to like my cauliflower year, so my cauliflower year actually happened when I was a white belt, and I was training with Elias down here, and we were training for Worlds, and I thought I was in my 20s, and I thought I was going to be a professional. I was going to be a world champion, but I realized that wasn't going to happen. But that's how I built it. I thought I was going to train, and then my year just started, growing, and now it's something that like I had a friend that's a surgeon. He was like, I could do that pro bono for you, or I was like, you know what? It's just gonna get worse. It's okay with me. I'll just be ugly for the rest of my life. It's fine like that. So, yeah.
Oh my gosh. Well, so talk to me like personally, like and maybe there's a parallel with jiu-jitsu, whatever. But like obviously like every business person there's a time where you have to like overcome some obstacle in your life, or you have to like reinvent who you are, or resituate where you find yourself and then get back on course. Like, how have you been able to do that successfully from a season where maybe things weren't going right in your life and you were able to get it back on track?
Well, it's about going through those times and the experience, and knowing that, that this, you always think about when you're in these situations in business and personal life that this is the worst time ever. This is so horrible. But if you reflect back and realize, hey, I've been in way worse situations, right? And I overcame this. And I was at a conference the other day, and they were saying 93% of the things that we worry about don't come true, right? 93. Now, the other 7%, only 5% of it even comes partly true. And then there's only like a small percent that, so the things that you're worried about, like, I don't think they're going to play out that way. It's just our mind playing tricks on us, right?
Wow.
And I think the mental game in my business, because being a financial advisor is not an easy role, you're going to get a lot of no's. That's just part of it. And it takes you, like, you'll be on a phone call and you'll be calling all these people and finally get somebody to answer and they hang up on you, right? And you just got to realize that there's going to be that it's a numbers game of continuing calling and reaching out to people, and eventually someone's going to answer, and they're going to see the value in you offering whatever it might be, just an appointment, or whatever, helping them out with their financial plan for retirement. So it's going to happen. And then when you get the wins, right? And it's not just the wins of the client doing business with you. My wins is when my client reached their goals, right? So when a client tells you that I'm ready to retire and I have enough money, and I show them you have enough money to retire, that's the biggest reward for me. And I think it's super cool, like, to see somebody like, hey, yeah, I'm done with work, right? And so there's a lot of rewards, but getting through those, those times, in between, and building your business, or, going to jiu-jitsu and learning new moves, like, there's going to be times that you're just horrible at it, right? And you just got to realize, look past, like, I got through these different things. Mm-hmm. And so I found out that's really been helpful with me, and the mental game. And like I said, business is mental, jiu-jitsu is mental. It's all in your head and how you perceive yourself, and how you grow from your mistakes. Also, like, you're not always going to do the right thing. You're always going to make the right decision when it comes to in jiu-jitsu and a move, right? And then you got to learn how to recover from that. Counter, right?
Sometimes you think, oh, this is the right next step in business, or this is the next right choice, and it may not turn out to be. Okay, cool. How do you pivot? How do you get back off the mat and like continue on, or figure it out, even if the decision seemed right in the time, but it turned out to be wrong? I've been in those situations before. Yeah. And it's like, well, what are you going to do now? You just give up? No, can't quit. Okay, got to figure it out and move forward.
White belt, not quitting. That's exactly what it is.
Yeah, that's awesome. I've heard other black belts tell me that. It's only black belts that say that, though. Is that a thing you earn when you're a black belt?
Yeah, I guess you can say it.
My mind's reminding me. I'm like, I've only heard black belts say that.
Yeah, but it's super true, and like, you realize it. Like, the whole journey of building a business, or the whole journey of getting your black belt. Like, right, there's going to be ups and downs, and there's something called the blues when you get your blue belt. and you get stagnant, right? Like you're not progressing.
I've heard about that, man.
Yeah.
I've totally heard about that.
Yeah, and that's how it is in business too. There's time with your business gets stagnant, and then you got to invent yourself, reinvent yourself, start from the basics and the fundamentals, and then just keep on trucking along, right? Like there's another saying, trucking along, keep trucking along. But yeah, just doing that, and that's how I feel in business. And that if you're gonna make, you're not always gonna say the right thing.
Yeah.
Right? So you just got to move on and forget about the past and look for the forward.
That's super good, man. That's super good. I want to ask you, like, as we get older, sometimes there's things we look back in our either younger adulthood or even sometimes our adolescence or childhood that we go, oh my gosh, I carry that thing forward with me to this day. Do you look at like your life and reflect back at something that maybe it's a lesson you learned earlier and you were like, oh, I didn't understand the value of that, but now I totally see it like clear as day? Or is there a memory or an impression that was made that you still think about to this day that's helping you win in life and in business?
Well, I don't have a specific, but like I would have to say is, let me think about that. I would have to say routine, like building a routine, right? Like I feel especially, in our world that you have to consistently do things. And if I go back on, and we'll talk about jiu-jitsu, or let's say I'm a surfer, right? And I find myself that I always think that I'm a really horrible surfer, and that I, but then you realize that, hey, it's not part of my routine. I need to continuously do these things. And that's how the same thing it reflects for everything else. It's just, you have to consistently, you're not going to be good right off the bat. And then if you leave from doing something, or let's talk about business, if I'm not good at making calls anymore and I stop, or I'm good at it and then I stop it, and then I look back and then I have to do it again, and then I'm not doing as well, it's because I'm not consistently doing. So building a routine and always doing that in whatever you want to do is obviously the key. And that's how it is with business and investing, right? It's about systematically always investing and continually growing your portfolio. So that's what I feel kind of relates to everything else too.
Yeah. And I think there's, and maybe I know this is probably, I don't know if I should say like myth bunking or myth busting, but sometimes I see that there's like this impression that because someone's good at their profession or what they do that earns them a lot of money, that means they should be good with that money. And that's not normally true. Mm-hmm. I know you can't cite specifics, but how I mean, if you were to generalize, like how prevalent would you say that people who are proficient at their career have a lack over here of financial either discipline, order, lack of planning and structure, no goal setting? Like how connected do you think those things are?
Very connected. I feel,
really?
I mean, I feel like people that are like maybe I'm thinking the opposite as you, but like let's say doctors, right? Doctors are really good at their profession, but sometimes they're going to lack on running their business, right? And then putting money aside for retirement or whatever it might be. So they might be good at one thing, but they're not good at the other. And that's when you need to bring a professional in to really just plan for you, right? And keep that going and keep the strategies going and keep you consistent. And like I like to always use analogies and football analogies. Like the client is definitely the general manager, right? And I'm the quarterback, right? And whatever solution I pick or is going to be the receiver or the running back that's going to get us into the touchdown. But we have to have a game plan. If we don't have a game plan, we don't have nothing, right? So I feel like that's very huge. But like, yeah, you're right. Like some people might be really good at something, and then they lack on the other thing. It's just about letting your ego go, though, also, and just realizing, hey, there's somebody that's professional that could do this for
you. And by no means am I saying that people who are successful are terrible at managing their money. That's not it at all. I've over the course of the years, I've just seen like people that are really proficient at one thing have lack in a lot of other things. And some of the smartest people I know, like they don't cut their lawn. Because they're like, I don't. Not only is it not the highest and best use of my time, but it's also like I'm not good. I'm not good at this. Someone else does this every single day. Back to your routine part, like they do it all the time. So they're gonna be better at doing that than I am. I make some choices in my life like that too, where I just know that there's certain things, even in our professional space, I'm not the best at. I have other people on my team. I can do those things, but it's not in routine with me. You do it. It's in your routine every single day, every single week, every month. You're way better at it, more proficient and quicker.
It's
So
funny. That's funny you say that because I just bought a new house down the road here, and I haven't had a yard to mow since my parents' house, right? So I decided to go out and get my dad, thankful for my dad, bought me a mower, and then I bought a weed whacker, and then I was out there mowing the lawn the other day, and I thought I did a pretty good job, but then I had people over to check out the house and things like they're like, oh, you missed this, or there's a line like I wasn't, I was like, that's why I have professionals do this.
I was gonna say, let me guess, you cut it short.
There you go. Yeah, exactly. Cut it short. Definitely.
I'm gonna cut that grass all the way down, all the way down to the dirt.
No, I did. It was like little higher parts where the line was, so I didn't do it on the inside. But I thought it looked good at the first, and then somebody came over and was like, "Wait, you should have done it this way."
We should build a whole neighborhood where the grass is just a reflection of the owner's haircuts.
Yeah,
that would be.
We'd be down to nothing. We'd be dirt.
And then the cul-de-sac, you have Andy, Mark, Ray, Nick.
Yep.
All the no front yard,
but
no grass.
Going back to that, it's like, yeah, I mean. So engineers are the same way, and they're really good at what they do, and they're very analytical, and they understand finances. But you need a quarterback, to lead you, because there's a lot of things they won't know, right? And there's a lot of things like I don't know about being a doctor, and I always use this analogy too, is that I'm like a financial doctor, right? And I have to know your symptoms before I can give you a prescription or a solution, and that's what my job's all about, is sitting there listening to these people about what's important to them, because the truth is everybody has different goals in a sense. Like we all have a retirement goal, we all want to buy a house, but everybody's different in their strategies, and we have to customize that towards them. And me listening to them and how they want to reach those goals is super fun also, because everybody it's funny, like you'll have somebody that says, my goal is to be on a beach in Mexico for the rest of my life, and then we could kind of go into like, okay, how much is that going to cost us? How much time do we have until you want to do that? So it gets really cool to be able to help people reach those kind of fun goals. Yeah.
Your face is indicating that you really share in the joy of the accomplishment as well.
Yeah. Definitely. It's when the person, and myself too, when I retire and I get to achieve that goal, right? It's just going to be, it's just knowing that you achieved that. And I don't know if you ever like wrote down like your goals on a list.
Mm-hmm.
Like, do you ever do that?
Yeah.
I do that. I'm a writer.
Absolutely.
I'm not a vision board guy yet, but I definitely want to start doing that. But like the last 5 years, I've written down everything that I wanted to accomplish. And it just went check.
Wow.
Like, and these are personal goals too, not just financial goals. And when you write these things down, you have a way higher success of achieving. I know there's a statistic out of doing that, and that's how it is for planning, like for investments and retirement planning. Is we have all these different goals. Like we want to pay the house off by the time I'm 65, right? We want to, have my my vacation home ready to go by the time I'm 73. These different type of goals. And when you start checking them off, it's like the biggest reward. And I have that for me personally and professionally. And I think what I do for my clients is I'm able to prioritize those for them, right? And find out and then strategize them. And then most importantly is I implement them, and then I keep the client on track. Because you could build all these goals and you can build all this, but if you don't have somebody saying, hey, we need to do this more, or we need to do this, or we need to change when stuff changes in your personal finances or in the market, we need to have somebody, we need to make those changes. And I feel that gives you a very higher success rate.
I really like that because you're also demonstrating to them the behavior that's going to help achieve the outcome.
Yeah.
Is like, hey, look, I write these things down. I have my own thing. So it's different if you're just like, tossing out these suggestions and pieces of advice that if you don't do, it's going to be really hard for them to attach to and go, yeah, sure, I'm going to do that.
Yeah.
But the fact that you're doing it, man, that really sends a strong message.
Yeah. And it's exciting. It's fun.
Yeah. I can imagine how good that feels. Like watch someone retire and you were walking alongside them, and then they get to that point and then you see them go off and do the thing that they had been talking with you about for 5, 10, 15 years or whatnot. Like that's gotta feel pretty cool.
Yeah, it's super cool. And it builds my reputation, because people will talk about you and say, Nick helped me out with this, and he helped me out with this, and it allows me to build more clientele that way because it's word of mouth. So it's super cool, and that's rewarding too. My biggest compliment from my clients is when they refer me, one of their family and friends, and that's like what I lead with. Like, I'm going to treat the people you refer to me as family and friends, and I'm going to care about your money more than anybody else is going to. And that's where I'm different than some other advisor at another company or what it might be. I care, like, and I really want to, show, and I'll show you that too. You're going to get calls from me all the time when something changes in the geopolitical events, different things. You're going to get calls from me, not just an email, right? So just being the personal aspect, which I think Jones really embraces, and I bid at other firms, and it doesn't seem, it's not the same, right? Like Edward Jones wants me to come out to the client's house and have coffee with them. They want me to go to their events. Let's go to their showings for. I was thinking about
their movie premiere. Their business open house.
Those type of things, and and showing support towards their businesses and all those things. So I think Edward Jones is special in this space with the big firms, which we won't mention, but you're sometimes just a number to them.
Similarly, I see this happening in BNI too, because of running the BNI San Diego show podcast, but also being in the region and being involved in a lot of our conversations. Is in person is coming back, man, in a big way. As there are this evolution of technology and software and AI, it's everywhere. It's like some things are getting shorter and quicker in time, and some things are just becoming so impersonal that there's this gravitation back to the personal.
Yeah.
And I think that's going to favor a lot of people. So before you lose your what over AI and the speed of technology, just remember some of these things are going to make that pendulum swing back in your favor, especially when your company is in favor of that and expects you to be connected at that personal belly to belly way with people in your community. That is going to super work out well for you. I know I'm saying this online. I know I'm saying this in the digital format, but we're here in person, our meetings in person, and that's why things like these are going together hand in hand.
Yeah, and I love that it's in person. When I started being, I was, I have to meet every Wednesday at 7:00. Like, I haven't missed a meeting yet, first of all, and I really enjoy it. And it's a good way it really makes me excited for the rest of the day. When we're all like-minded, and and what's cool about our BNI group is, like, I'll express, hey, I don't have anything going on this month, and we're struggling in this, and they're like, hey, we're in the same boat as you. We might be in a different industry, but we're business owners and we understand what you're going through. So that's really cool. Miguel's been a super, he walked me off the edge. He's like, hey, that it's all good. It's like, November, it's very slow. December, it's how it is for everybody in business.
Yeah.
And you just gotta fight through and not give up. And then next month you're super busy and you don't have time to even take a call. So
every Wednesday I'm reminded that I'm not alone in this, to your point. And there's so often, I think, as business owners or entrepreneurs or whatever role you are in business when you're sitting here watching this, is like you just feel like, oh, it's only me. No one else can relate. Mm-hmm. It's not only you. And yes, we can relate. We've all been there. Whether we publicize the depths of our difficulties or we've just had them and we're privately talking about them off camera or just to each other in private, man, you are not alone. And you are not the only one going through difficulty in business if you are while you're watching this. And every week I'm reminded that because I show up and we all show up.
Yeah.
Because I expect you to be there. You expect me to be there. Mm-hmm. It's one of the benefits of attending and having attendance is because we're all going to show up. Yeah. It's never a hit or miss of who's going to come this week. No, we're all going to be there.
And don't get me wrong, Zoom meetings are good, and I've been doing a lot of Zoom with clients that are other parts of the state. But there's nothing that compares to the face-to-face. And I love that with our group that we meet face, because I know there are other groups to meet like maybe once face-to-face every month. But it really like lets you know who I am and who I like versus a Zoom.
Well, and you're also describing a level of authenticity though, where we're arm in arm in things too. And I was kind of semi-guesting on another show not too long ago, and I was talking about how everyone has a season where they're struggling, and they may or may not tell you, and that happens at different points in your life and your career. It may not happen in your 30s. It may not happen in your 40s. It could happen in your 50s. Well, that's really inconvenient, isn't it?
Yeah.
Right? So, okay, or maybe there's an economic change that is hurting your industry and not another one. Mm-hmm. Okay, that hurts, doesn't it? So I think even within BNI, there's this this place where you're going to find people who are not having the hardship you are, and you're going to find someone that is likely also having a similar hardship that you are. And I don't know a lot of places like that. No. I stepped back to be honestly, I was like, okay, think about it. Is there another place that's like that? Yeah, sure. Rotary, but you know what that is? Other business people getting together again. Yeah. Other community leaders getting together who are getting together for a common cause once again. So it's similar in that way. And I love that because every Wednesday I'm reminded of that. And I know I'm going to show up to that meeting and there's going to be people there that I can trust, that I can talk to, that I can learn from, listen to, be guided by, and also do some guiding myself.
Yeah.
I love
You're
it.
a very good leader.
Well, I'm trying.
Yeah. I'm lucky we have great presidents that, run that BNI group. You're amazing.
16-year, first-year member, right? What would you call it in BNI terms? So we have to come up with a BNI black belt equivalent.
Okay.
Or a first-year member in my 15th year. How about that?
Okay.
Something like that.
You're a black belt with one stripe.
I guess. Yeah, one stripe.
Black belt. There you go.
Black belt with one stripe.
Yeah.
So I want to ask you a couple other questions as we kind of like wrap up today. Phrases however you can. Like, what is working well for you right now in business?
Well, I'm just being there for the clients and following up with them. Obviously, being part of the community is great, and BNI is being great. But reaching out to my existing clients and just knowing that, hey, if you need something, I could be there for you, and telling them about what a lot of my other clients are experiencing, and where I'm helping them out has been super successful for me. Reaching out to people and family and friends that I know that are not getting the attention from their advisors or just from anybody in general, and helping them set up for a plan. When I came over to Edward Jones, I made it a point that I was gonna, make sure all my friends and family are set up with a plan. So, what's been successful about that is I've been helping friends and family with their plans, and they've been talking about me. And I think that's huge. Like I said, it doesn't matter how much money you have and you bring over to me, but if you're talking to me when you have, like, I called everybody before the holiday parties, because I was like, you're going to be sitting in these conversations and somebody's going to tell you, hey, I'm not earning any money on my savings, or I have an old 401k somewhere that nobody. You're going to get into those conversations, and then you're going to be able to like talk about me and say, Nick did this for me, right? And it was a great experience, and he cares, and he's going to help me achieve whatever my goal might be, and go through those ups and downs of the markets and the environmental in the market environment. So
I am finding that these days, and I think I could point to a couple reasons why this is happening, but I do see a lot more people willing to openly talk about difficult or semi-controversial topics that you maybe not talk to your friends or family about. Financial planning is one of them. Preparing for after death, like picking a spot where you're going to be buried, all that kind of stuff, like end of life kind of stuff. Trust in estate, insurance, like not and also in an unsalesy way. That was hard to say. Also in an unsalesy way, where it's like, hey, I care about you. I need you to know about these things. Whether you do or don't do them is up to you, but you at least need to know something I know, and you can ask the qualified questions you want to someone who can answer in a way that's going to help you. No issues. That's happening a lot more than it used to. I think there was like this privatization of like, oh, well, we don't talk about that. And I don't know how much of that's
you don't talk about those things. Well, I mean, maybe politics we don't talk about, right? But I really believe people need to share their experiences financially. Like, you have to let people know like what's working for you. Like, if you're doing great and you're growing your money, like you might have somebody that's sitting in a savings account that's earning 0.02% when you're over here, so like I think it's important to talk about these financials.
Shoot, man. Look, and I'll tell you, and I've told everyone, and I've said this in the room, in person. I don't care if you do your podcast with me or not. Start the freaking thing. I know not everyone's going to, but for those of you who are going to, I honestly don't care if you do it here or not. You just need to go do it. If it's part of your game plan, your marketing and media plan of action for 2026, please just go do it. I want to like run across the finish line and celebrate with you at the end of that, even if it's not this isn't the place you do it. I just care about people doing it,
and I totally agree. And financially, that's how I kind of lead my conversation. Is I start off by saying, hey, I'm going to educate you on, what your options are, what you could do, what's working for some of my clients. But if we're not the right fit, that's fine. Go out there and find somebody that is the right fit. It leads us back to, finding somebody that's going to listen to you, understand your financial goals and different things like that. So, you don't have to do your planning with me, but let's find somebody that you really are comfortable with, that you could disclose all those things. And it's super, and typically the client, I've had some clients or prospects not work with me, but for the most part, everybody likes the honesty, right? Same
thing here. Like, this isn't the right place for everybody. I'm not the right fit for everybody. That's okay. I'm trying to be the right place, the right fit for those who are. And I also want to be as authentically who we are. And that way people get the best of us and the whole of us, not some modified version of us that we hope works out long enough that they don't figure it out. Like, no, this is our space. This is what it looks like. This is who I am.
Yeah.
Like,
and I hate that what is that phony syndrome that people get? Like
imposter syndrome?
Imposter syndrome, yeah. Yeah, and like I kind of let it all out in the first appointment with clients a lot of the times. Like who I am. Like who I am. Like this is what I do. Like this is who I am. I just, because it's really personal when you sit with a client and they're telling you their whole financial world, right? And then they're telling you, and they do open personally. I open up myself too.
That they probably tell no one else about. Yeah. They probably don't talk about this to anybody else. No. To my earlier point. Now, yes, people are starting to share more, but maybe not in the details. Yeah. But now they're sharing with you all the details.
Yeah, they share everything. And you know, and I'm going to share a little bit about myself. And then I don't feel so much as a imposter or a phony or different things like that. So,
you know, I've never really bought into the whole fake it till you make it thing. Like that is just a saying. I'm like, no, that really is just a saying. That's really hard to fake it till you make it, man. That doesn't work really well.
I think that people say that, but they really aren't faking it, right? Like
no,
it's not, no, you're just making. Okay, I could just, you know, I'm gonna do this, and I don't really think they're faking it.
No, it's more about grit than anything else. I think it's just, you know, getting back up again.
Yeah, getting up again.
You know, it doesn't work. Get back up again. Try again. Mm-hmm. Let's go. All right, I have 2 last questions.
Okay.
You can take as short or as long as you want for these. Okay. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Well, it wasn't one of the questions, so there's still 2 more.
That was a short one.
Dead or alive, who would you want to have dinner with? Who would you want to share a meal with? Dead or alive? Anybody?
Dead or alive? That's a good question. I don't like. I'm a big Kelly Slater fan. Yeah, so I mean, he's just the GOAT of surfing. If you guys don't know who Kelly Slater is, you look him up. I mean, he's huge. I think he's in his 50s now, and he's got
to be.
Yeah, he has a great haircut. He has the same haircut as us.
Well, isn't that nice?
Yeah, so you kind of look like him a little bit.
Oh, come on.
Yeah,
man.
I swear, if you look up Kelly Slater and you guys know.
No, please don't edit that in.
Because he's traveled the world. And he has like a lot of good input on everything, and I think he's super cool. Like, I mean, I would just love to meet him one day. Mm-hmm. Actually, I was in the water in Hawaii one time when I was a kid. Not a kid, but I was in college. I used to go. So me and my friends used to go travel to Hawaii and go to the North Shore in winter when we were in college from like December. Like we'd go out there New Year's Eve and then stay to the end of January, and we'd stay in a house on the North Shore, probably 15 of us in a 3-bedroom house and everything, and we'd be right on the North Shore, which is a dream come true to us, and we'd go out and surf. And then one time, a couple times, he was in the lineup, and I was just like,
wow.
And I'm not like a starstruck person, like I'm not a person that's going to be like, but when he's there, it's like, oh, the GOAT's here. Like
that's really cool, man.
He's actually been voted like one of the like best athletes of all time, right? Because he's won so many championships and the age that he is. Which I don't think he's super old, but to be in professional sports. So
hey, that's super cool. Hey, Kelly Slater, if you're watching this, Nick here wants to meet you and have dinner. Yeah. If you know Kelly Slater, this is honest. They're BNI's International. If you happen to have a connection to Kelly Slater, you need to DM me, make a comment, get a hold of Nick somehow. Yeah. Let's make this happen.
Yeah,
I would love for you to have that experience, man. That's great.
But it was just to kind of go back. We were at Pipeline, which is a really big wave, and I was a bodyboarder at the time, and we sit off to the side because the surfers get all the main waves there. And I remember seeing him out there, and I saw him, and it's just don't quit, right? Like I saw him catch one wave at Pipe. There was a huge wave, and he doesn't make it, and he just gets annihilated, right? So he gets out of paddles back out, gets the next wave, gets annihilated. So I'm into the beach, and then I see him on the last wave, and he just gets the best wave I've ever seen. And so like that just like shows that like you just don't give up and just keep on going and keep on going. Even the GOAT makes mistakes or doesn't make the wave, and he continued to go. So it was really cool to see him, and I wanted to run to him. I wanted to be a fan at the time and run to him when he got on the beach, but I didn't want to be that guy. So like, I'm not a starstruck person that wants an autograph, but I'd love to shake his hand one time.
That is a great lesson in that. Is the still you said he got annihilated, and he got annihilated again, and then he went and he got it and landed his most epic wave. That's super cool, man.
Maybe he could teach me some surfing. I know he trains a little jiu-jitsu. So
jeez, here we go. Here we go with more violence. More violence among friends.
Yeah.
Okay, the next question is, you and I are standing in a stadium. There's 100,000 people there. We're in the middle of everything, and I give you the microphone, and I say, you can thank one person. I know you probably have many people you think of to thank and say a piece of gratitude to, but Nick, I hand you the microphone. There's 100,000 people listening. You get to thank somebody. Who are you thanking, and what are you telling them?
Well, I'm gonna say it's my parents. I'm gonna say two people, right? Without my parents and the support they've given me through, so many ups and downs, and with going through school, just from being younger, with my career, and especially being there for my kids. That's who I want to thank, because they're honestly the reason that I push my kids are too, but the reason that I'm where I'm at today, and the way in my main goal in my whole life is to be most important thing is to be a father. I think you can relate, to be a good father. We want to lay down on that deathbed and say, my kid, the kids are just happy that, that you were there for them and admire you. Right. So that's how I am with my parents. And the reason I feel like I embrace those type of values is because of them, because that's all that matters to them too. Right. Is to be a great parent. So I that's where I feel like there's not one person. It'd be my mom and my dad. My dad gives me the strength. My mom gives me the the compassion, and so I really love that about them. They're still a huge part. And I moved down the street from them. So my kids
that's rad.
my sister, me, in my office, and are all in 1 mile radius right now. So when I say I'm part of the community, this is my community, and I'm super happy to be here and blessed.
Yeah, you're anchored. You're really anchored. You got family there. You got your house there. You got your office there.
Yeah.
We're gonna have to figure out how to get you out of there. Well, I guess this is out of there, but not by much. Not by much. We're still kind of neighbors, business neighbors. Nick, this has been awesome, man. Thank you for coming in. I'm really excited to have you be part of BNI Partners in Excellence. Thank you for making it to the show. Thank you for making our chapter better. I'm really excited to see how you go and grow in your BNI career of networking, and how you move up from the white belt to the black belt in BNI. Hey, how about that?
There we go.
Full circle tie-in. I also have to say, forewarning, in a future episode, I'm hearing these murmurings that you, Miguel, Michael, and maybe another member or two are going to have a full-on martial arts beat people up show. Yeah. I'm not sure what that's about. I'm just saying that as a warning. I'm not sure how we're going to weave in all the business angles of that, but I'm here for it as much as I'm warning you about it. So
we're excited. I hope Miguel asked me to come on. We'll talk a little bit about jiu-jitsu.
Well, you're going to have to be on, man.
Yeah, I'm excited. I love that.
Awesome. Well, Nick, thank you so much. If you are looking to connect with Nick personally, you will find his contact information in the description box below. If this is your first time to our chapter show, please make sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel. And then if you are in business and you're looking to grow your business in 2026, you can join Nick and myself down at the Chula Vista Golf Course in Bonita. That's right, the Chula Vista Golf Course in Bonita, 4475 Bonita Road, every Wednesday at 7 a.m. Click the registration link in the box below, and we will see you with another great guest next week. Later.